experience as a black man is just like you got to be able to be aware and conscious of how you come across to other people.
Absolutely. We are intimidating anyway because we already, we already bigger, black, you know what I'm saying? So, but, no, for real, that stuff, and that intimidates people, you know what I'm saying? And so in the workplace, I definitely done had so many times where I done been sunned and they didn't, you know what I'm saying? It don't feel good.
Right. And
you know,
and deal with it.
You know, and it's...
Because it's like, they want to try to take it up the chain and they expect you to react.
So what it is, they bait you. They bait you, and they will try to bait you to try to get you to pop off, and so they can be like, oh yeah, this is why we don't hire black people. Yeah. You know, they do that all the time. And as soon as you do something wrong, they gonna pull the card like, oh, well, you should have known this or you should have did this. Right. And they looking over your shoulder and they tallying, marking out. They can't wait to see you do something wrong. Right. They can't wait to see you follow a procedure, not the right way or anything like that. Right. So it's definitely a target on our back, being black men in healthcare.
For sure. Then I don't think it's another demographic for real that gotta be aware of how you coming across to people, because it's like, even if I'm using professional language, even if my cut and everything is professional, just looking the way that I do, I know that you automatically assume I'm unintelligent. I already know you assume that I'm going to pop off on some ignorant stuff and that I can't use proper nouns and verbiage. You know what I mean? And to me, honestly, especially in a professional setting, I use it as a clutch because it's like you don't expect it from me. So when I do it, you can see it. You can see it register in their eyes. Like, oh, hold up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up. He ain't what I thought he was. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm not.
And another thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about when this crisis going on. We the first ones they look to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When they swinging on you, want something. You want me now.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially on the psych floor.
Yeah. So you got to be aware of that too.
Working on the psych floor, you gotta, sometimes restrain.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah,
and it's like, you want me to be the first one through the door. I had this guy. He was in the shower, like he knew that they was coming. They caught a cold for this guy. Okay. He got in the shower and started soaping up, naked. He's big, like tall and stocky.
So he was ready. He knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He knew what time it was. He knew what they was gonna try to.
So he naked and soapy. I'm like, I ain't going in there first. I'm not. I don't get paid to take punches. That's what security for.
Hey, I had a situation like that too, man. So I definitely feel that a lot.
And that's what aggravates me because having to that stuff is exhausting. Having to I don't know.
Cut it on and cut it off.
Yeah,
you gotta. It's like you gotta cut it on, cut it off. You don't know who gon'. You don't.
Right, and you gotta subdue your energy to be accepted as professional. You know what I mean? No. That's crazy.
The code switching my code switching right now.
It's flawless.
My code switching is crazy.
It's flawless.
That's one thing I can't credit them for is the code switching.
Right.
I'm just saying, guys.
Yeah, because my professional. I'm serious. My professional voice went to Harvard, bro.
For real.
You can't deny it. Because even if I am highly qualified, you still doubt it.
That's what I was gonna say. And not only that, you can show somebody, and then they'll still question you down the road,
right?
Or question you in another way, or try to challenge you in another way.
Yeah,
that happens. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like I said, I've had situations where like you have nurses or I don't know, supervisors that'll just talk to you sideways and feel like they could get away with it because you don't know proper procedures to handle a discretion like that or a problem like that. And it's like, I already sent the email.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, because I already know who to CC and all of that.
And now you know how to play their game along with them. And if not, better.
Oh, yeah. And I
done seen people do it. So, I'm going to show you how to walk this white and gray, this white and black line that you want to. Yeah, let's go ahead and walk.
And my Harvard conversation to cut you up professionally, because I had a lady question, like I was on a computer in a different section of the hospital than I worked in, but I got my badge on. I'm just getting off work trying to print something. Can I help you?
God.
No, I'm fine. Are you supposed to be here?
Are you supposed to?
And I'm like, my badge got me in. She like, well, that computer is a locked computer. My badge, if I'm using it, obviously I'm authorized to use it.
Any reason to call somebody. Yeah. Any reason to call somebody.
It's like a cred check. Like, my badge ain't enough. Like, it look just like yours.
Nah, bro, you black. It ain't enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so unless unless they boss say you good enough, then you will never be good enough until somebody above them steps.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Because in that situation, she was like, "Well, I'm a email so and so," and I was like, "I worked with so and so."
Don't even know y'all best friends. Don't even know they love you to death.
Yeah, like she volunteered me.
Don't even know they love you to death.
You tripping? Like, so yeah, like I was like, you email her, I'm gonna email her too, and her boss. Because I know them both. Like, they both came over from my unit. Quit playing.
And a lot of times the people that go about stuff like that, they be like, not even, their relationship don't even be as strong as yours with so they be like, okay, now you just look like the tattletale that's just trying to get on my good side. Right. And they be looking like, oh, I wonder why, I don't know, I done had this happen before. I don't know why such and such keep running back telling me what you done did. Hey, I done had that. I done had that happen before. I done had other PCAs try to fake check over my work. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, not knowing I'm getting awards, all type of stuff. I'm doing. I done got shouted out by my managers and everything all week, and you trying to go back behind me and check my work? Like, nah.
Like, if I do it enough times, they gonna question me. Like, nah, because my rapport is as such that it's unquestionable. Exactly. It's a rap. My work ethic can't be like, you know what I mean? Because if I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna make sure you can't complain about my work ethic. Yeah. You can't say that I was insubordinate. You can't say that I was off task. Like, because when I'm in that professional setting, I know that I'm held to a higher standard.
We ain't got no room. We got zero because they're looking for it. No room for error. We can't do anything. Right. The first thing you do, you get rid of. It ain't no warning, none of that. Yeah. It's different.
I had a PCA come in. He was brand new, tried to ask me to do his job. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep on doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the checks right now. Yeah. We do 15-minute checks. I'm gonna keep doing my checks right now. But you just sitting down. Yeah, but I'm on my checks.
Yeah, right exactly. That don't mean I'm supposed to do this. Yeah. So then when I don't get to do this, you running back and you telling somebody he ain't do this. You see what I'm saying? It happens.
Like, and on top of that, I got seniority on you, my guy. Yeah. Go do your work. Go do your work.
When they telling you and they be like, damn, okay, well, I guess he's not gonna get in trouble. Like, so I guess I'm gonna just go on about my day. Like, so yeah. The hospital has this way it's supposed to get done. Okay, yeah. We do that, but I feel like everybody kind of has their system and a way that they go about doing stuff. Yeah. And if you just so happen to come across with someone that's like, okay, say you might be in there working with a nurse that has a certain way of doing things or usually do stuff in a certain order, that might trigger them. And they'll be like, hey, well, you know, he ain't really doing it. I'm like, no, I am doing it. And I'll show you, like, yeah, I did do this and stuff. It's just, I wasn't trained your way. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been working in healthcare for 10, 15, 20 years. So maybe the person I got trained from maybe showed me a little different way. And that's okay. A lot of people don't have that mindset in healthcare. And that, I feel like that main thing alone, the system, you don't do stuff my way, is a huge problem, and that's why it leads to a lot of conflict, and that's what spoils a lot of relationship on the floor. I'm an ED tech right now, and that's where I pretty much broke into my hands-on healthcare. Before that, I was working in sterile processing.
What is that?
So sterile processing, pretty much, I'm setting up everything for surgeries and stuff like that. Like the case carts, setting up the case carts and stuff like that. Yeah. I was in that for a long time, and then, so I realized I had a calling in healthcare this whole time. I don't know if y'all want to hear my story on.
Please.
Okay, cool. So I have a younger cousin. He has cerebral palsy, epilepsy, severe. He has a bunch of things going on. He can't see, can't walk or talk or any of that. He actually moved in with my mom when I was a young boy. I was probably about 11 years old. So for me, most of my life, I was the only child. But since my mom was a nurse, she was best suited to take care of him, right? Yeah. So he moved in with us when I was a young boy. And so all of my teenage and young boy adulthood, I grew up and I learned those skills, like learning how to take care of them, change pamper, tube feeds, stuff like that, change wound care, different type of things that I learned along the way. And so he moved in with us, and I went off to play college football.
I studied exercise science at Tiffin University for a couple years. And so I went off, and then I went off, had a crazy injury. I cut my toe off.
Dang.
That's why I stopped playing sports. Because, be careful, stay away from the lawnmowers. So,
lawnmowers?
Yes, it was crazy. So, I was cutting grass. Oh, sorry about that. I was cutting grass, and I cut my toe off. And so, I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I was going to school for exercise science because I always wanted to be a trainer and stuff like that. But truth be told, the only reason that I went to college was because I wanted to play football. And so, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so from that point forward, I didn't know what I was going to do. But during that process, I was in the hospital for a couple days, like a week after that. And so, the number one person over my mom, everybody, your parents will always be there to support you in that, and they always gonna tell you, try to uplift you. So when you hear that all your life, it don't really hit the same. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hitting the same because I'm like, y'all, I hear y'all, but y'all always say this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The person that really got through to me was the nurse, was the ER nurse. She kind of stuck with me, like, it's gonna be, it's gonna be all right. Like it's a lot of stuff you can do. Like I was down. It was more so the injury was cool, that hurt it, but like what crushed me was I wasn't gonna be able to chase my dreams. You know what I'm saying? I was crushed. Like you gotta think I'm missing a toe. I'm thinking I'd never be able to run again. Like I'm going through a lot, and the person actually that got me through that was the nurse, man. And that's why I swear from that day forward, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get into healthcare. And so I got into sterile processing, and then so once I got into sterile processing, I'm like, I did it for a while, and then I broke into healthcare. That's when I got on as a PCA. And so I was working as a PCA, and then I'm like, cool, I'm gonna just go ahead, I'm gonna go back to school, and I enrolled in Xavier. So
that's what's up.
That's my story, man. That's how I got into it, and I've been walking that fine line. But so pretty much, I'm gonna go ahead and jump the gun and say that was my calling.
So it's just kind of always been there,
right?
But I always wanted to do surgical tech because I didn't want to be the one cutting. You know what I mean? That seemed like
but a lot of pressure. To be close to
but
it.
I wanted to watch it, like, you know what I'm saying? Scalpel, got you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I wanted to be that guy, and I just never
cool.
By the time I got to that point, like I think I had seen enough to where I was like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? And then so working as a PCA, it was fun because it got me close to it, but not that close to it. You know what I mean? Like, cause you still see, like on the psych ward, man, you see people that tried to kill themselves.
Yeah, so you see,
you know what I mean? People that done pulled the trigger and survived and got, they mouth blown open type stuff, like, so it got too close enough for, and then I just got out of it because at the end of the day, it just wasn't me no more. Like I got tired of it, man. I burnt out, I guess.
It happens. It happens.
I mean? Especially when COVID happened, because they ran through so many different processes and procedures, just especially for the psych floor because it's a lock unit.
Yeah.
So it burnt me out, bro. I was just like, I'm done. Like I went into real estate. Like,
so many nurses get burnt out within the first 5 to 7 years. It's insane. Like it's like over like 35% of nurses get burnt out. Like that's a big portion. You know what I'm saying?
And I can
people,
believe it.
You know what I'm saying? We be thinking this is gonna be it our whole lives, and so I seen that happen. Yeah. I seen that happen with my mom. My mom, she left for a minute, but she got back into it. So. My thing is, I already know that I'm following your route, man. I already know. I'm building relationships with investors, all of that. Yeah. I'm gonna be working as a nurse, but I know that one day that day will come calling where I'm like, damn, maybe I don't feel like doing 3 of them this week. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I just want to be, part-time or something like that and focus on other areas of my dream.
Because the crazy part about it is when you working short, like, in healthcare especially, like if you only got so many slots available and then people calling off or people on vacation and calling off, and then you run into something like COVID or the flu when it starts spiking and you running short, all the time. But you got to pick up because, you know what I'm saying, the floor need help or whatever. And then you see like, oh, they dropping pizza as opposed to my 10-cent raise or my 3-cent raise.
Not the pizza.
Like,
the pizza.
The pizza orders.
What is up with the pizza?
I don't know, bro. Like, cause
the pizza.
If I had another,
we admitted 122 pages, and you gonna send us some pizza? Can you give us a bonus? How about let's
you know
we don't want Marcos. How about
just giving me at least another quarter on my raise, my guy? Like,
how about a certificate to a massage parlor? How about
something like that? You know what I'm saying? Something to decompress, brother. Like, cause I'm sitting here wrangling, you know, psych patients all day. Like, yeah, I need a rub down after this.
You said the pizza, yo.
Yeah, man, I'm serious. Cause like, and then what's crazy is, no matter how good you is, no matter how many of your accolades is, when it comes time for your review, they always make sure it's middling so they could justify that 2-cent raise that you getting. Like, you know what I mean? And then your pizza party. You know what I'm saying? Like, quit playing, man. Y'all want me to come in on off days for trainings and that type of thing. Like, so I'm here on my off days. I'm here on my work days. I'm working doubles because somebody called off next shift. Can you stick around? When I was working on the site floor, no. You already know my answer. Unless I'm working towards something in my outside life,
right.
Don't even ask me. You already know my answer. I got 6 kids at home. I'm going home.
You gotta protect them.
That's non-negotiable. They should know. Like,
it's a wrap. Like, unless I got something that I'm working towards, nah, I'm just here to pay my bills until I figure out how to, you know, surpass paying my bills into getting into wealth. Because it's been too long that we'll have conversations about, like, you know, me and the other brothers that's on the unit with me, like, man, one guy that I worked with, he was like, you know, they always asking me to do stuff, like, and I was like, you too approachable. You know what I mean? It's a such thing, you know, especially because when
I had to learn, man.
Yeah,
especially when you knew,
right?
And you want everybody to think you nice, and
right.
You want everybody to, you know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody, so you don't want nobody to think like, oh, he don't want to work. But when you do that and you kind of give a little bit too much of a green light, right. So where they feel like they'll use you. And when I say that, I mean use you to the point where it's like it might be another or 2 PCA sitting down, but you just so active and you so headstrong, go, oh no, I want to lead. Yeah. They'll take advantage of that. Yeah. And I had to learn that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's important.
Because I'm like, you know, I'm approachable and I'm mannerable and I'm professional. But at the same time, I got this look on my face like, you know I'm not about to do that.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. Like, because I'm doing my job.
Right.
Like, that extra stuff, if I feel like it, I will. And if I don't, I ain't going to tell you I'm not going to do it because it's my nurse. But I'm going to tell you that I'll get around to it.
Right.
But I might forget. I ain't gonna tell you I'm gonna forget, but I might forget. Right. Because, bro, you got me messed up. Like, and
they'll run you, bro.
They will. They'll be like, oh, this is my turn.
You get home, you check your Apple Watch, you at 18K for the day. Like,
right. Like, they running you all across the whole facility because you just that approachable. Like, you know, this is my guy.
Oh,
like,
I had to learn. They ran me down. Boy, they ran me down. I knew they ran me down, and I had to step off the floor for a second. I'm like, hold on, let me get my mental together.
Yeah, you know, because they just assume that you know your mental is strong enough to take it just because you're smiling at them. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, because I gotta be, you know, professional and subdue my natural energy to be palatable.
It's still okay to say no. We sometimes in healthcare we forget that we allowed to say no or not right now because they do it all day. You know?
Yeah, a nurse will definitely tell you. You know what I mean? My patient needs some medication, and they like, you know, I get around to it. Or I'm about to go to, you know, but. When you do it, it's like, you know, but because it's a superior, you might run that risk of subordination, saying it to the wrong one that's already out to get you because whatever her hang up is, or him, whatever they hang up is, you know what I mean? Because it's wild to overly do it to where, like you said, they'll run you into the dirt and then it contributes to that burnout. So it's like, no, I ain't staying late. Y'all got y'all money's worth out of me today. Like, I ain't doing it. Like, I'm going home. I need to crack me a beer and watch a game or something. You know, sit there and play Call of Duty or whatever help you decompress. Because you know that mental health thing is real, man. Like,
that's so important. And like, honestly, I've been pouring so much of my life into that my schedule is packed, but it's okay that my schedule is packed because I packed it with things that's gonna allow me to recover. You know what I'm saying? If I'm working, because sometimes stuff happens. You know, sometimes I might have to work a 60. You have to find that balance. You have to find your thing that you love, that you can say this non-negotiable. I don't care what nobody's talking about, and this is what's going on, and this is what I'm doing. And you gotta find your space for that, man. That's important. Like,
Two, it's like when you dealing with superiors that be on that nonsense.
Right.
You know, one of my coping mechanisms for emotional distress is that I don't allow myself to feel emotions viscerally.
Okay.
I think about what I might be feeling and kind of analyze it. Like, why am I feeling that way? What's the trigger? You know what I'm saying? And how do I rearrange my thinking to not allow it to really affect me? Because, you get mad or sad or something and you feel it viscerally like that, it affects your body.
You would think yourself, you could think yourself, man, you could feel your body temperature rising.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like, so instead of feeling it like right there in that moment where I might lose my filters, that mask, you know what I'm saying, that personality and that professional filter and all of that, before I lose all of that, like, let me just take this walk, do these checks, and think about what just happened and how I'm gonna deal with it. But look at them and just know. You wouldn't even look me in my eyes outside of here. You would make a point to clutch
your purse
and go across the street. Like,
yep.
And that's why I say, like, finding that line between being personable and approachable versus a little bit standoffish to the point where, I'm gonna help you, but don't abuse.
Don't run me though.
You know what I mean?
You gonna work. We all here to work.
But I don't think that's something that a lot of people got to deal with. Like, cause that ain't just in healthcare. That's in the professional environment. Period. Right. You know what I mean? Cause I already got the strikes with my hair. You know what I mean? They look at you like oh, you know what I'm saying? Thug, unintelligent. You just got this job. You might you know what I'm saying? How much time you done? Like, because you wouldn't believe how many people just assume that you've been in jail because of how your hair looks. Like, how is it that black people's hair is so regulated to the point that you could tell me that I'm not professional for something that comes naturally out of my head?
Hold on. Let's talk about this, though. It's crazy how intimidating it is to see. Have you ever been just kicking it with one of your other black coworkers on the floor just a little too long, and they start looking like, hold on, like what y'all was talking about, or like y'all some black unity power? They be like, what's going on? Like, we ain't gonna have no black power going on up in here. Like
either that or they like look at them. Or either that or they like look at them little lazy.
Right, yeah.
That's why we don't hire them. They sitting there just talking and stuff.
They be so sorry when y'all be kicking it.
Yeah.
Hey, when y'all be kicking it, cutting up, having a good time,
sitting there
and getting work done, y'all having a good time, work flowing crazy.
Because that's the type of stuff that bring them out, though. They be like,
they be salty.
Did you
do that?
Like, yeah, I did it. Like,
you did it, and I did this though, just to make sure. Like, and the blanket warmers are actually stocked as well.
And it's charted. And I charted it. So we good. Like, what we trying to do with culture healthcare is like you got a healthcare system where you got Indian doctors, you got Hispanic doctors, but you got Indian and Hispanic patients too, who can't get their diets out of the hospital. Like, you feeding these people hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and fries, and that ain't even in they. So what you feeding them ain't even gonna be conducive with their healthcare because it's not their normal diet. Exactly. So it's adding something totally different to how their body chemistry works naturally anyway. Right. You got doctors that can't go to the cafeteria and get something that they would normally eat, so they got to bring their food in. Mm-hmm. But them patients don't have that same option. Nope. You know what I'm saying? Especially in COVID, you had to eat what they got. You can't get a non-pork meal if that's what's on the menu. Your alternative is chicken nuggets or a cheeseburger and fries. You know what I'm saying? Like, or a salad.
You might get some chicken tenders now, or what is the pork loin?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's wild to see that you could have a multitude or a diverse workforce and still not have diverse services. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. Because that's crazy. You got to find an interpreter, call them on the phone, as opposed to just having doctors of that nationality that are familiar with how the psych floor or the ER floor works. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like if you got a doctor like or a patient that don't speak English because they speak Korean or they speak Japanese or Spanish, something as basic, especially in the U.S. is Spanish, and you don't have nobody on the floor that can talk to that person. Why? That is one of the fastest growing populations. How do you not account for a native speaking Hispanic person for the population you serving? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
My wife was telling me a story about a lady who had to get an MRI and they couldn't get her she had a weave or a wig or something on and they didn't know how to do it, so they couldn't do the scan. How don't you have a culturally competent person to deal with that type of situation to let you know that you got to cut these strings here to get that? Like, so that lady can't get her health care or she can't get her test ran because you don't have the cultural competence to understand that that's a quick weave or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's important to have people of color of our culture in those positions, because that wouldn't have been a rescheduled test.
So the thing, we got a problem here in general. So we have a huge black population. Not only black, we have a huge black, Mexican, and Indian population, like you said. And a lot of times, we don't get treated how we are supposed to in the healthcare system.
Speak on it.
Let's talk about that. So a lot of times, I don't care how nobody put it. We are prioritized. I don't feel like a lot of times we are prioritized. And when they do bring us back, I feel like we wait. I do feel like we wait a little longer. Yeah. I definitely feel like we wait a little longer. They treat us a certain way. And so that's why so for me, for instance, whenever I have to be like a guest in the hospital, I will, if I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, or if I'm feeling like you a little too just in and out straight trying to just get me in and out, I won't. Can you get me somebody that maybe a little more relatable to me and what's going on? Because I hate feeling like that I'm just like a number, or to just go somewhere when I'm trying to genuinely, I want to know in-depth stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to know what's going on. I don't need you to run everything. I would like to know this stuff by myself. I want to know why. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff we shouldn't be uncomfortable when we talking to a doctor. We shouldn't be uncomfortable asking them why should I do this or why that happened without feeling like we getting on their nerves. That's a problem too.
It's almost like echo chambers. Like for instance, in a hospital setting, you can have certain systems that are self-reinforcing. Right. So it don't really matter who's in it. It's gonna replicate itself all the way around. Like, so if it's something negative in it, it's gonna replicate that regardless of who you put in the system. So when you got your token culture guy at the top, he's still in the same system, so it's gonna still work the same way. He just the one that you can point to and be like, see, diversity. You know what I'm saying? That's really all you're doing, and you think that nobody's the wiser. You know what I'm saying? Because
I see that. That's cold blooded. That what you just said was cold blooded.
But that's what it is.
It is like, though. It is. It's stone cold, but it's everywhere though. Every one of them has one. Yeah. Every hospital has one.
The hospital system that I see us creating, man, it's the nuances in the cultures that gotta be respected and understood, because if you understand them, then you could treat better. Exactly. Like, I can be treated better if you know that high blood pressure runs, then his diet need to be saltless. Right. You know what I'm saying? If a Mexican person or a Hispanic is in there for digestion problems, you feeding them cheeseburgers and stuff, and that ain't even part of their natural diet. Right. You gotta understand what's in that diet and how it affects that particular set of people. Exactly. Because everybody don't digest it the same. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Bean sprouts and stuff like that ain't you know what I mean? It ain't digested the same across the globe.
Generalize healthcare.
Right. It's a cookie cutter system, like, you know. Man, and the crazy part about it is it's Eurocentric where you're getting your data points from, so it don't apply to everybody. It don't. You know what I'm saying? It can't apply universally because everybody's not the same as the Eurocentric population that you based your empirical data off of. Exactly. Like, for instance, they call my babies once they passed that little losing weight phase, they called them obese. For, you know, whatever their scale range was. They just had a study from the CDC recently that was talking about how that scale is obsolete because it's not transferable across the spectrum of races and ethnicities. You got different effects on how, you know what I'm saying, what we put in our bodies affects our body.
Yeah.
That's why we trying to create an ethnocentric hospital system that'll address those disparities, and like the disparities is empirical. Like it's statistical. It's stuff that you got ample research on, but nobody's doing nothing about.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
And
we gotta do something about that. I appreciate you talking with us though, bro.
You already know, man.
Because the coaching experience can't just be me, man. Like, it can't just be me. I know everybody got a story like that, man.
For sure.
You know, the microaggressions, the differences, and the way we get carried of differences and how they perceive our intelligence or our know-how about our own bodies. Like, it can't just be me.